Peace and welcome to my 11-month and 23-day check-in with No Nicotine. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing a serious topic, and this topic is pretty deep as well, and it is all about how addiction can cause illness. Anyone out there that is dealing with an addiction or experiencing any type of illness, this video is purely informational, and power to you in that challenge, power to you in that battle that you are in. And in this video, I'm going to talk about, how addiction can affect mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually those states of being, and how it can cause illness. And this isn't to say that people that are using moderation or are practicing how would I say, cautious actions, taking the right necessary actions. I should say that not everyone will be able to deal with this, and the stronger that you are in these 4 states of being, and the stronger of a being that you are, in general, is going to allow you to not have these effects and allow you to see beyond what something's trying to do to you ahead of time, and be able to, understand how this can be causing an illness. Let me go ahead and stop this action, or let me change this in order to better create this outcome. Let's not choose the thing that's going to cause us to spiral into a mental line and mental thought pattern of, tragic thoughts, anxiety-ridden thoughts, or whatnot. It's about being able to be aware of that, and then being aware of that much of self, and being aware to say, I can still experience that, but that means that I'm going through that, so that's going to be making me stronger, and that's going to be another way that you protect yourself against any type of illness, especially when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You can really do, actions that will protect you, from illness, regardless of how much it's trying to affect you, how much influence it might have over you, or how much it's trying to manifest, or how much it is manifesting. Well, guess what? You always know that you have your back at all times, and that you have other people that are real. If you're surrounding yourself with other people that are real, that will also have your back, then we're all in this together, and we will all, be prosperous at the end of the day. And those who have been putting in a lot of the work are going to see the rewards. There will be a payoff for all the hard work that has been put in, all the energy work, all the shadow work that has been going on. There will be great awards down the line. Let's talk about how, addiction could cause illness mentally. When it comes to mentally, addiction can have you in a mental form that is a repeating mental form of, okay, I'm in this mental state of being again. Once you realize that you're in that mental state of being, and I'm talking about the mental state of being that when you're high, this state of being, you're realizing you're in this state of being, so automatically, mentally, you will experience mental resistance, and it'll start in the forms of, this isn't right for me. I just have a repetitive thought process that when I go to this substance, I know it's not right for me, because I keep getting this repetitive just thought pattern, this repetitive mental space that I'm in every time I'm using the substance, or every time I'm not just using a substance, but maybe in this area around this specific location, around these specific things, doing these specific actions, right? Being aware of all that while you're mentally like, okay, that was, I lost focus, but anyways, while you're mentally trying to avoid any forms of, let's say, that repeating mental form, the repeating mental form of, oh, okay, I'm in this again. Let's use all that information and use all that we know from the situation to derive that maybe this isn't right. Maybe this is a continuous thing that's showing patterns of mentally, hey, this is not right for the mental state of being. Certain things are going to work for certain people, certain things are going to work for others. And I think that anyone that is experiencing mental illness, that I think that you can easily overcome mental illness, and I think that a lot of times you really don't even need like medication or whatnot. Therapy, that's a thing, but you can do that to yourself. You can literally be your own therapist. Like, why not do meditation, do things to help cure your mental states, help cure your mental disorders. But addiction can have an effect on it because it's constantly putting you in this mental state of being, this mental thought pattern, this mental form of, all right, I'm doing it again. I'm continuing this use. And I'm finding myself having these and perceiving these perceptively negative actions and perceptively odd, let's say, emotional state of being, and odd reactions to things, and sensing up on that and being able to feel that that energy of something not being necessarily right or in the right place or at the right time, or just whatever's happening right now. It almost feels like everything you just went through is now brought back up just because, boom, you're in that state of form, you're in that mental state of being again and again. And if that's brought on by a substance, then that substance is therefore, causing that, mental situation, that mental occurrence is caused because of that substance. And mentally, there's other ways that it can affect you, especially when it comes to the day-to-day thoughts that you have. When you tell yourself something like, okay, today's the day that I'm gonna quit, or today's the day I'm not gonna continue to use it because it's just not doing anything for me. Mentally, if your mental state of being is in a specific way from your addiction and being affected by your addiction, and the way that you continuously tell yourself these things, but you validate regardless of your mental form, the mental thought patterns that you're having regarding the addiction, you're just disregarding that, you're validating it in other ways. So that's taking your mental power, that's taking your decision mentally to do that, causing you to be more mentally weak, and therefore possibly, let's just say, causing a mental illness. We can just say that as a really phrase. We're really just talking about specific thought patterns that we get stuck in, that I know that are repetitive and that are from past things that are developed over time, because it plays on the state of being of the mind, because the mind is processing everything that you're going through, whether it be physically, emotionally, mentally, and then spiritually. You're perceiving all that really first spiritually, and then you are doing the rest in reverse. But, you know, so that shows, you know, the mind's that powerful, and that it's just when we get stuck in these mental state of beings and these mental thought patterns, you can't almost, you know, it's sticking to you, or you can't shake it, you can't find that new space mentally, or you can't get that mental space that you need. That's my take on really what mental illness is, and of course there's other people that have their own take on it, but I'm just really talking about how I know that addiction can cause mental illness, physical illness, spiritual and emotional illness, and unwell-being. And mentally, like I said, that taking away your decision to mentally make that decision, like, okay, yes, this is what I'm going to do, but instead you're actually waking up and forfeiting that thought that was really there to show you something and to mentally remind you that, hey, your mental state of being is telling you, hey, pay attention to your thoughts. And I went a while without paying attention to the thoughts. That's because it's easy. You know, the mind's a powerful thing. It's not too hard to evade things if you have a strong enough mind. And you don't want to be too smart for your own good, right? So it's always good to mentally check in with yourself, mentally make sure that everything's going well mentally. And that's right. This information, everyone's going to have their own perspective, but this information is true because it's what I've gone through. It's what I've come to know through my experiences in life. And yeah, mentally, there can be illness caused, and let's just call it mental disgrace maybe, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. If that term illness is a problem for you, let's just say how can it affect your health? Bottom line, health, and we're talking mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So physically, how can addiction cause illness, and physically affect your health? Well, the addiction can put your body in a state of constant survival mode, because if you're introducing something that's foreign to your body, then you're always having to have a fight or flight reaction to that, to what you're taking in, and it's going to be at a level that is a lot. You know, you may not be able to tell exactly what's going on, just because, you know, you can't be aware of everything necessarily, but you can definitely have a sense of physically, am I well? Physically, am I okay? Physically, is what I just did affecting me? Well, when you're addicted to something, physically you will do it regardless of it having physical effects. And let's talk about that right there. You're telling me that when someone's addicted to something, that they actually are doing that addiction more than they are. Keep losing my focus, but anyways, I'm gonna find it. When someone is addicted to something, you know, it's in their reality that they are continuing the use of that drug, you know, that substance or that action, and most of the time they're going to have more paying attention to using that drug more than possibly the effects that it may have, possibly the effects that may come from that, possibly. And no, that's what it is, that's why it's not right for you, and well, it can become a problem physically, because if you continue on doing those actions that you might not be able to see right now can affect you, but they can affect you down the line, and it's for you to be able to, physically be able to do that. And that brings me back to my original point that I think I remembered at least some part of it, which was, let's talk about that right now, is someone that is addicted to something will choose to do something physically that is not right for them. And there you go right there. It's not what's right for them. And in other ways, they are physically ill and physically, let's say, what's that word? It's like they were physically, taken control over. In the case where physically their addiction is causing them to physically experience harm and experience damage to the body just because physically they want to feel good for a certain time, or whatever it may be, whatever you're getting out of that addiction. So physically that just shows, that it can cause illness when it comes to how addiction can affect you physically. And there's other ways that addiction can affect you physically. Every substance is going to affect in different ways. And not only that, but physically you can protect yourself from anything like that by always making sure that you're taken care of physically, which basically is, everyone should know what they need physically based off on how you feel your body is going, how you feel you need to eat, how you feel you need to sleep, what works best for you physically, to be able to avoid any type of physical illness that we have. And if you do have a physical illness, then let's drop the addiction part, and let's just say, I'm sending you energy, I'm sending you good healing energy, and regardless of if, let's drop the addiction part. Anyone going through physical illness, let's just take a moment. Yeah, just take a moment. Physically, people go through a lot, they endure a lot, and as long as you're being physically strong, you will get through anything that comes your way. And I'm talking whatever it may be, you'll be able to get through that regardless of the outcome. You will continue to be who you are no matter what, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So physically, addiction can, it can cause illness, it can cause unease physically with disrupting the, let's say, balance in the body, the balance in the ecosystem of the vessel, and it can have all sorts of effects, which I'm sure one may already sense, because if you're aware physically, you may be able to just already be aware of what's right for me to take into my body, what I should be avoiding, what is good for me, what works for you. Emotionally, what have I noticed can happen when addiction can affect in ways of the emotional state of being. Well, it can have you dependent on a specific, substance, a specific thing to feel a certain way or to use as a crutch. And yeah, I'm telling you, people like having a crutch, or let's say people like to fulfill at least some desire, because really that's how we got here in the first place. And I've come to notice that it's more about how you do that, how you go about doing that, and that's true. We all know that it's up to each individual to go through and to be able to deal with their own, emotional state of being, making sure that one's emotional state of being is balanced. And it's about being able to be independent from that crutch. Even if you know that crutch is there, you know that you like to emotionally depend on that, you like to emotionally depend on that substance. Just being aware of that, knowing that that's there, is going to allow you to possibly implement moderation and be able to not have that emotional fulfillment on that substance or on that, whatever it may be. You're going to be able to go extended periods of time without it, and you're going to see a new perspective open up where emotionally you're more emotionally strong and you're more emotionally embodying stability and balance when it comes to the emotional state of being. So I'd say that, yeah, for sure, that's an emotional illness that you could say addiction could cause, because your emotional state of being can be deeply damaged if you are using drugs and you are, let's not say just drugs, but if you are doing things in negative ways too, and then that in turn is affecting your emotional state of being, then you're not balanced at all, and you're not going to necessarily feel good about yourself regardless. So you have to find that inner peace, find that ability to emotionally emotionally grow from having to depend on something so much. And that'll help you, like I said, eventually become a lot more aware and a lot more cognizant of how your emotions are affecting your or how your actions are affecting your emotional state of being. And when it comes to how addiction can affect that, you can use that to possibly cover an emotion, to possibly sweep emotions, sweep feelings under the rug for a short time, just while you validate this addiction. And that's not good, because emotionally that's still there, and you can pretty much detach from your emotions. You can't detach from your emotions, but I'm saying that you're always going to have a reaction to things, and it for sure is beneficial when you're not definitely depending on something so drastically, right, that you can't actually take space away from it. And emotionally you'll realize that if any of this is true to you, that you'll be able to emotionally put yourself on a path of emotionally growing and emotionally maturing into a better version of yourself. I know that the spirit is always protected, and I'm I'm gonna say that no matter what, there's no such thing as being spiritually ill, because you are a spirit, you are a soul, which is an individual spirit, and you are in a body. So you can't be affected when it comes to drugs, addiction. That can affect your spiritual state of being. And really, your spiritual state of being is directly protected and served out through your spirit and through your soul and your soul's actions. So really, I think that if you have a strong spiritual state of being and you're a strong spirit, I think that you can't really be affected by these so-called illnesses, or you'll have a much stronger resistance to being affected to these so-called illnesses. There's people that have had illness that was a very strong person spiritually, but that's because, like I said, things can happen. There's ways through this world that we live in. Everything isn't always, great for everybody and happy days all the time. And, people go through it. People struggle, and it's bound to happen to some. So anyone out there, I'm making this video to really just spread the consciousness, spread some information about this topic, and to help really make change, and to be a good example, and to understand more the life that we're in. So anyone out there struggling with anything, power to you. If you made it this far in this video, that's great. I'm still here too, as you guys know. And spiritually, as long as you're strong spiritually, you're always going to be spiritually protected. And for those people that have gotten, affected by an illness or affected by something, when it comes to that, you're still you at the end of the day. It can never take that away from you. And that's really what I want to end with, is that regardless of what you do, you're an individual. You at the end of the day, you're not having to be so hard on yourself. And it's pretty true that life is a beautiful thing, and not only that, the balance of life is one to respect. It's one to appreciate. It's one to be at one with. And like I was trying to say, my point for the last 2 minutes was, regardless of what you're doing, power to the individuals, power to strong ones, power to everyone on their journey, power to me, power to me, power to you. Like I said, this is just purely for the reason of being consciously aware, spreading consciousness, trying to make change, like I said already. But regardless of what you're doing, like I said, power to you on your journey. You've got this. Continue on. Coming from someone who's been on almost a year. It'll be a year here soon. This is the 11-month and 23-day check-in, and I'll be there soon. I'll be at that 1-year mark in no time, and you guys will for sure be seeing me on a video for that 100, or that 1 year check-in. But yeah, it was nothing. It's nothing that you guys can't do for sure. And just saying, for me, who's been through it at least almost a year without it, it's going well. Things are well. So power to you on your journey. Power to you on your journey of self-improvement, journey of being a better version of yourself. That's going to be it for me in this 11-month, 23-day check-in. I'll check you in the next one. I'm out.